Hello and welcome to this episode on City Self-Sufficiency, in which we're going to be looking at getting the aquaponics space planted up with seeds. So the first thing you need to think about really is exactly what type of seeds do you want to grow, and this is just one of my tubs of seeds. As you can see, I have got a lot of seeds that I've gathered over the sort of years that I've been doing these bits and pieces of gardening and growing vegetables. So it's all a big jumble to begin with, and we just need to whittle it down to exactly what we can grow in the aquaponics bay and what do I actually want to eat. There's no point growing something if you're not going to eat it sort of just for the sake of it. So first thing we do is we'll remove all the flowers, because there's absolutely no point wasting an edible system on flowers, so we'll just get rid of those. There we go. Right, so that's left us with just the vegetable seeds. Now we think about what can we actually grow in the aquaponics bay itself. If it was an advanced system, I would try growing tomatoes, but because it's not an advanced system, this one's still really young, it's not going to have the nutrients required for tomatoes. Any plant that you have to feed quite a specific sort of food source to, I wouldn't bother trying to grow in something that's young. So we'll take out anything that is tomato based, or for example the squashes. They're just as bad as well. Again, another really hungry plant, so we'll take all of those out. Right, there we go. So that's everything that's really hungry that's been removed. So next I'm going to take out anything that needs the bed to be quite deep. So I can see carrots just there. If my beds were deeper, I could grow carrots, but because mine are literally only about sort of 4 inches deep at most, any carrot that I try to grow is just going to be really stunted. So I'll remove that, and I'll remove anything that needs quite a deep system for its roots. So the large brassicas, so anything like broccoli, cabbage, anything that needs to have a deep root system. So I'll just get those ones removed as well. Okay, so that's removed all of the deep-rooted plants, so that leaves us with what we can potentially grow in the aquaponics itself. So what have we got? So, alright, first of all, there's broad beans in here. I'll take them out, because I've now got them growing outside. No point in them being in here as well. Lamb's lettuce, you tend to grow that in winter really. It's sort of small winter salad, so that one can go. What's that? That is completely miscellaneous. Looks like some kind of brassica, but I have no idea what that is. So that one can go. That lamb's lettuce, that can go. What do we got left? So we've got lots and lots of peas. So sugar snap peas, nah. Main crop peas needing little support. Yep, you can stay. Lettuce can stay. Chilies, nah. Spinach can stay. Watercress is a pretty obvious choice, so that can definitely stay. Turnips, nah, I've got them growing outside as well. And that's just another lettuce. So there we go. That leaves us with our choice. We're going with lettuces, that's the obvious choice. Watercress, another obvious one. Spinach and peas. So next we'll just have a little look at where we're going to lay the plants out. So it makes most sense for the watercress to go next to the outlet pipe, because that's going to fill up with water the quickest. I've also noticed that when the system is running, the water does get up to perhaps less than an inch below the surface. So that's going to be the best place for that one. Lettuce again really likes an awful lot of moisture, so that one will be fine there. Then we just smooch around to the other bed. So the spinach can go next to the lettuce, because those two are going to grow to about the same height. The peas are going to need some form of support, so I've left the space where it's kind of easiest to get to in the centre of the polytunnel for where I can build some form of support around here when I get them growing. So planting up the actual aquaponics space couldn't be any easier. It looks a bit daunting because you're dealing with clay pebbles rather than with soil, so it feels a bit unnatural to begin with, but you literally just plant the seeds exactly the same as you would do into the soil. The clay pebbles hold enough moisture so that the seeds, when they're sitting on it, will be able to get everything that they need. So it's not that you sort of need to cover them over with a set amount or anything. It's literally a case of you just scatter the seeds on the surface in most cases. So first thing we do is we just give it a quick water with watering can, just to make sure that there's definitely completely saturated. obviously at this time as well, don't have the system running. You don't want water to suddenly come splurging in through your inlet pipe and start washing things around. Just have it switched off while you're getting things planted up. And once you've done the watering, it is literally just a case of scattering seed onto the surface of the pebbles. The seed will drop down in between the little gaps. You really don't need very many seeds, especially with watercress. Watercress grows ever so fast in an aquaponics unit, which is great when you consider how expensive watercress is to buy in the stores. And you literally just take a pinch of seed and then you just scatter it very lightly over the surface. So for slightly bigger seed like this spinach, for example, as you can see, they are much larger than they were with the watercress. They're quite substantial seeds. With those ones, exactly the same again as it was before. It's a case of just gently scattering them over the surface where they're going to go, and you'll see that they fall in between the gaps. And then once you're sure you've got a pretty even coating, just help them down into the gaps, just sort of gently smooth it over. And again, that's absolutely fine. That's all that it needs, even for the bigger seeds. So the only seeds I'm going to be doing any differently with will be the peas, and that's because I'm going to have to build some kind of a framework around them at some point, so I could do with them being in lines rather than being sort of all over the place. Out. So for them, what I'll do is I'll just plant them individually so that I know roughly where they are, just by pressing them down into the pebbles. So I've not actually grown peas in an aquaponics unit before, not too sure what to expect. But if we go with, let's say if we have 7, that'll be fine. I don't really want to put one there because it's too close to the outlet pipe. So I don't want to have any risk of that clogging up with the roots. But that's fine, literally with them just poked into the pebbles like that. There's plenty of moisture in there for them to grow, they get plenty of light. And then yeah, once they start growing, I'll be able to build some sort of a framework just so that they've got some support as they grow. Peas, they should get to this sort of height. This is quite a small variety. This is onward, so it doesn't get too big. But yeah, that's literally all you have to do to get your aquaponics unit planted up. And once it's all go, just leave it as it is. Leave them to, I give them sort of 3 or 4 days just time with the system not being on, so that when they start to grow, they can anchor themselves onto the rocks that are in the system, onto the clay pebbles. Then as soon as that's done, yep, you're ready to go, and you can just switch it back on and then wait for them to grow.